Hello, everyone. It's the
Hello.
That's What She Said with Dani podcast. Hello, Dani. What's going on? How are you today? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great. I'm so excited to do another podcast with you, as always. It's my favorite time.
Me too. This is our favorite time of the week. Hope it's y'all's too. And it's going to be a good one this week. We are talking to two-time Olympic medalist Jennie Finch. Remember, she won gold back in 2004. We're going to dive a little bit into her Olympic career, what it takes to be an Olympian. Isn't that what we all want to know? We would all love to be there. Not many of us can, but she can share what at least it takes to get there. Plus, where is that gold medal? Where does she keep it? Where does she show it off? How comfortable does she feel having other people handle it? Let's ask her about it.
I wish I had a chance to see that gold medal. I haven't. I would do a lot of things to touch a gold medal, but I won't here on the podcast. The other thing that we have to talk to Jennie about is Kim Ng. And I know that Jennie and Kim work together at Major League Baseball and have had a lot of time together. So just getting her reaction to the hiring of Kim Ng and the importance of that hiring. I know that Jennie will speak so passionately about that. And Jennie's just like a great person. Like, how cool is it that you and I get a chance to have her on the podcast together? Because I know both of us have interacted with her separately and have grown up watching her and being a fan of hers separately. So to get her on the podcast together is a pretty big deal, Lex.
I mean, Dani, let's break through a barrier. Let's shatter some glass ceilings. Let's have our first female guest on the podcast and be an all-female episode of the show.
It is a powerhouse show. Watch out, everybody.
All right, let's welcome in Jennie Finch. Jennie Finch, thank you so much for being here on the podcast. Super excited to talk to you about softball, talk about the Olympics coming up. We've got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and start with your initiative with MLB. Pretty incredible that you are an ambassador to create these fields and to make better fields for younger kids in the game. So let's talk about the Scott's initiative for these field refurbishments. What is your role in it, and what does it mean to you?
I'm so excited to partner with Scott's and Major League Baseball. I know firsthand what a field can mean and where dreams are made of, right? And where communities are gathered around together. And I know the impact that a field can have. And especially with the year that we've had in the last year, this year is pretty important. And this opportunity for baseball and softball fields across the country and communities to apply and possibly be one of the field refurbishment picks for Scott's and Major League Baseball. I'm here to try to get communities to register and have the opportunity to have up to $50,000 spent on a field refurbishment in their own community, in their own backyard.
Wow, that's awesome. Jennie, I feel like your commitment to communities coast to coast is so impressive. Not only Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, and all these little girls who, joined the game because of you. What was the field that you fell in love with the game? What was the place? What did it look like? What did it sound like?
It was in La Mirada, California, where I grew up. And I want to say probably it was my brother's baseball fields, because that was where I first was exposed to baseball. And obviously we watched the Dodgers growing up in Southern California, and that was our team. But it was on their field watching them play. And it was like, hey, I want to do that. And so when I got my opportunity to play t-ball when I was 5, right in our own little league, and it was so much fun to go out there on Saturdays and see your friends from school and the whole community gather around, and you just had fun. And it was with girls, which I was in a house full of boys, having 2 older brothers. And so it was just, I fell in love with it instantly. And I think probably that was the main reason, was just, I was doing something with girls, and I finally found like, hey, these big muscles, are a positive, and I could throw the ball really hard, and, kind of turn what maybe society looks at in a negative way, but into a positive light, and found the good in it, and just how amazing our bodies are through sport.
So Jennie, are you still a Dodgers fan? Was 2020 your year? Did you guys go crazy?
We went crazy. Yes. There wasn't much to cheer about in 2020, but the Dodgers were it. Yeah. So they came in clutch for us. What a thrill it was to be able to watch them and celebrate. I wish my parents were in Southern California, and I would have given anything to be able to celebrate with my parents, but that wasn't able to happen. But it's okay. It was still very exciting and a positive of 2020.
You can celebrate anytime, I feel like, at this point. Once your team's the World Series champ, it's unlimited. There's no expiration date for that. Jennie, you mentioned, women in sports, in baseball, and learning to love who they are and grow up and dream of being anything and anyone that they want. And that is a message that you've preached time and time again in every different platform that you are on. And we have to ask you about Kim Ng, named general manager of the Marlins last year, first woman to be named a GM of a major North American pro men's sport. So when you heard that, I know what my reaction was. I know what Alexa's was. What was your reaction to that?
Oh gosh, we were fired up. Me, Tasha, and Lauren Chamberlain, we had this huge thread going on with Kim, and just like, Kim for president, Kim for everything, bow down. We had every GIF you could possibly imagine, but just in awe of what she's been able to accomplish. And I'm so grateful for the time that I had with her and under her, and just to learn from her, and, just such a humble strength, I would say, and a force to be reckoned with. And she fought for change. And, it wasn't just kind of going through the motions. She was so passionate, and she really wanted to provide and make a difference and make those changes. And I'm so thankful for her paving the way in so many avenues of women in sport.
It's pretty incredible watching these women shatter these glass ceilings, especially to be, alive for it and to be witnessing it as part of our history, because this is what means the most to, younger generations. When you think about all of the women who are shattering those glass ceilings, who are breaking those barriers, especially in sport, what does it mean to you in terms of providing that for the younger generations?
Especially now that I'm being a role model was always close and near and dear to my heart. But now that I'm a mother, it was emphasized to a whole nother level. Like, oh my gosh, and to be raising a daughter in today's world, in today's society, and them being able to see that you can do anything. And it's so much fun. I coach my 8-year-old daughter's team, and just these girls are being raised in a world to where, like there is no glass ceilings. And it's so exciting to see. And just, they have no idea just, how amazing and cool it is to be able to turn on the TV and see women in sport, in the booth, from, behind the camera to on the field, which, we weren't able to be raised in that environment. So just to see how far we've come in a short period of time, it's so exciting. We do have a long ways to go for sure, but the door is just continuing to be opened, and Kim was a huge part of that.
Yeah.
Well, in 10 years, your daughter could be vying for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team, something obviously you're very familiar with. It's back in the Olympics for the first time since 2008, when you won a silver medal with the team. And it's a one-time deal from what I've understood, a return to the games. They're hoping that it comes back 2028, but yeah, read your case. Why should the Olympics add softball to their program for good?
For us, it's the pinnacle of our sport. There's over 120 countries that play our game. And so I think just that right there alone, and it's a team sport. There's not too many, team sports out there, and we need the Olympics. And I think the Olympics needs us just as much. Baseball is a worldwide sport, and so is softball. And to see how far it have come in 3 Olympics, actually 4, right? 96 to 2008. And then these countries finally had these programs established, and then all of a sudden, boom, 2008, they were gone. That was the last opportunity. And so now to be able to have that opportunity once again, and it couldn't be in a better place in Japan. It was one of my favorite places to play. The stadiums are packed. Usually, 30 to 40,000 people come in to watch and play USA versus Japan in softball, and just what a cool atmosphere. And they have their own professional league over there. So it's exciting for our sport, but we need that platform. And there's young girls, all over the world that need to have the opportunity to play for their country and to compete.
Yeah, for that part is always so interesting to me. For an athlete, what is the biggest difference between playing for your team versus playing for your country?
I just remember like putting on the USA jersey and thinking like, I'm a superhero now, right? Like these girls don't lose. They're perfect. They're amazing. And it was like, oh, but then like that voice of doubt came in, and it was like, Jenny, you better not screw up now, because, now you're going to let your country down. Like, what? Like, so you try to put that in the back. But there's no greater pride than having your country across your chest, and, just to be a part of the Pan American Games and the other events, just how amazing it is to walk in, amongst the entire world, but yet in a healthy, competitive environment, and just see the beauty of different traditions and cultures and all of that, and how each country kind of has their own unique style of play. So many amazing memories, and such an incredible opportunity, having the opportunity to compete for your country and travel international and play the game that you love.
And you've talked a lot about the balance of power and what comes with fame and what comes with being a face and a voice of an entire generation, but also every little girl is still saying your name. When we cover amateur events, who's your favorite player? Jennie Finch. Who's your favorite softball player? Jennie Finch. Who's your favorite athlete? Jennie Finch. and I know that you've talked about what comes with that, and it can be stressful, and how do you fulfill the expectations of people? But college softball has this crazy meteoric rise. People are finally paying attention and realizing that this is the sport to be watching. ESPN has picked up, so many games now, and I feel like college softball is finally getting its due. But for the young women who are still saying your name, Jenny, like, what does that mean to you?
It's wild to think, I grew up having to search for the last page of any magazine, or my parents would cut out any female athlete, basically. I couldn't be so sport specific. It was like any female athlete. I just wanted to get any information I could about them, because you didn't really hear about female athletes. And now to see these young girls being able to turn on ESPN and all these sports channels, and being able to see softball being played, it's so surreal, and just it's incredible to see how far we've come. And it's cool too, because these networks aren't just putting us on, because Title IX and for, equal rights and all that. It's because the viewers are there and they are demanding, and the more softball they put, the viewership only increases. And so that's the cool part, is just kind of seeing our sport finally get the platform, and then seeing it shine and excel on that level. It's quick, it's action packed, and we do the same thing that the guys do, just in a more condensed kind of environment. And I think people are starting to appreciate kind of female in sports, women in sports, for what they are, and instead of just comparing them to what the men do.
Yeah, and how high we can fly when we're given the stage to do it, right? It's incredible, and the audience. So super excited for softball in the Olympics. All right, time for a rapid fire. We give you a question, and the first thing that comes to your mind, you let us know.
Oh gosh, I'm terrible at these. Just heads up. These are the worst. Anytime
these are going to
rapid, it's like, oh gosh, here we go, my stomach drops.
You take as much time as you need, but these are super simple.
Okay.
If you could face one MLB hitter in today's game, who would you want to face?
Probably Bryce Harper, just because my kids are all about Bryce Harper, and or Aaron Judge, just because they'd be like, yeah, mom, it'd be exciting for them.
Mom points always.
Yeah.
What about the favorite thing that you've signed, or a favorite autograph that you've ever given to a fan?
Oh gosh. The most random is a sock in the mail, or once we signed my baby's diaper, and it was like, what? This is not real, So those are probably the craziest.
Hold on, were both those things clean?
Yeah.
I know. Well, one was on the baby. I don't have anything, but will you sign her diaper? Is some signing the bum of a diaper. It was in Philadelphia. I think our game got rained out, so it turned into a 2-hour autograph session. That was our game. So we were all a little delirious.
Oh, I love that. All right. How about your favorite player in MLB? Since you're a Dodgers fan, is it someone from the Dodgers?
I'm a Kershaw fan. I was really excited to see him kind of shine big, but every year it just it changes. And honestly, now that my kids are all playing, we don't get to watch as much as, we would like to, but it's fun now, because basically we're at the ball fields every weekend and week out, with one of them playing, or if not all three of them playing.
Who's the college softball player that you can't get enough of right now?
I have to go with my Arizona Wildcats and Alyssa Palomino. She's a stud, and she's been through, I think, 3 ACL tears. So it's just been, one hurdle over another. And so it's been, and Deja too, who's on the Olympic team, also, and Rachel Garcia, of course, UCLA, just so much talent out there and so much power and strength. And so it's exciting. I'm excited that they're getting the opportunity to play, and I can't wait for the season.
Yeah, a couple of names to look out for sure. I'm glad you're letting us know. How about growing up, your favorite, you mentioned you're a Dodgers fan. Did you have a favorite player from that franchise or just in general in baseball that you absolutely loved?
I'm probably going to date myself, but I remember just being little bitty and playing T-ball at Steve Sachs, number 3, like that was my guy. And Oral Hershiser too, growing up, just watching him dominate on the mound, and he was tall, long levers. And so I could kind of relate to that too.
Jenny, gold medal. I know this seems like an impossible question now that I'm reading it out loud, but what does it take to win a gold medal? Like what are some of the adjectives or what does it take to get on a field and win a gold medal?
Gosh, I think just preparation, a ton of training, hours and hours and hours. But you still, like, even every championship, you have to have that little extra something. And I do believe the harder you work, the more you prepare, the more confident you'll be and the more luckier you'll get. Hard work, things happen that way. I feel like when you do, you do all the right things and you pull it together, but the camaraderie is huge. I think, especially in our sport, to win a gold medal, like you have to all be fighting together on that same train, on a mission for the main goal. And that's gold medal. So, yourself is last and the team is first, and you're willing to do anything and everything that you possibly can to help your team win that medal.
Athletes will sometimes hide their rings or their medals in a safe or go the opposite way and build a shrine. Where is your gold medal right now?
It is actually in our safe. So my husband has a gun safe, I guess you could call it. And so it's in there.
And how often do you pull it out?
It's pretty cool. They're pretty banged up and they're pretty beat up, but I have to say, we tried to count one time, and I would say probably, like, with all the camps and clinics that I've done, easily over like probably 300,000 people have held that medal.
Wow.
Just so it's really cool to think of, how many young girls have held that or have taken picture with the medal. And I would say that's by far the greatest thing about it, is being able to share it and, just give people a feel of wearing it and to look at it and touch it.
I was not expecting that answer at all. 300,000 people. Wow. Last one, Jenny, you are so ingrained in every community of sport, I feel like an icon. So you must have some pretty famous people in your phone. Who would be the most famous celebrity in your phone?
Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Trace Atkins from Celebrity Apprentice. His daughter ended up playing softball for a couple of years. He invited us to the CMAs. So just what a great guy. I guess maybe him. I don't know. I'd have to probably look.
It counts.
How about since becoming
Kim Ng, right? Kim Ng.
Yeah. Yeah. She absolutely counts.
That's a perfect answer. All right, Jenny, we end every podcast by making our guests tell us an embarrassing story. So it could be something from your athletic career or something from your broadcast career or something being a mom, just totally off the wall. Anything that comes to mind that you can share with our audience to get us all on the super most relatable level of something that embarrassed you.
Where do I begin? Every day. Oh my gosh. I remember in college, it was like one of our first televised games, and it was Arizona versus Arizona State. So it was a big, huge in-state rivalry and close game. And I'm rounding third base running, and it was on the WB back in the day, which everybody watched, right? Locals. And so everybody was tuning in, and we were pretty pumped that we were on TV, and I totally rounded third base and just biffed, like ate grass. It was terrible. And I just remember, like, the next day on campus, everybody was like, how was the ball? You ate grass, talking about that. And here we are, finally on TV getting the spotlight, and then boom, I totally just eat it rounding third base. But we ended up winning, so it was okay. But that was probably one of my most embarrassing moments on the field, I would say.
I don't think you've eaten grass since. I think it's Smooth sailing since then. Awesome. Thanks so much, Jennie.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome. Great to talk shop with you. Looking forward to this upcoming season and looking forward to the Olympics and your initiative with Scott for the field refurbishment. We'll post links and send people to check that out. But we appreciate your involvement in that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been over $2 million invested in local communities from Scott's in Major League Baseball, and I think over 24 fields that have been redone. So it's been so fun to go into these cities and, you know, these kids come out and it's like, wow, I have a big league field to play on. It just kind of gives them a boost and brings the community together. And so I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of it. But you guys too, keep up the good work, and it's great to see so many women in the game.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennie. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.